Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to give you guys a quick update on the cryptocurrency markets. I'm also going to share a warning about Bitcoin going down to 74,000. I'm also going to talk about some of the crypto ETFs and can they save cryptocurrency right now. I'm also going to talk about a few other subjects in this video, so make sure you listen to the end. Now, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor, and if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and the comment section. Now, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 108,878, Ethereum at 3,387, XRP at $2.26, Solana at $157, Tron at 29 cents, Dogecoin at 17.5 cents, Cardano at 56 cents, Chainlink at $15.31, XLM at 28 cents, and Shiba Inu at 509,859. So this being November the 8th, and a lot of us had different expectations because of the 4-year Bitcoin cycle. And there have been a lot of delays in that because of, first of all, the government isn't open. Crypto adoption right now is pretty poor. And, when people see in the news about all the mass liquidations and all that, they have a negative perception of cryptocurrency. And that's why I tell you, when you tell people to invest in cryptocurrency, that you have to tell them about the volatility, especially now, right? And a lot of the things that you have to share is based off of long-term holding. And right now the government is not open, so a lot of the economic numbers are delayed. Right, you have this fighting between the Republicans and the Democrats. All that stuff that is happening with our government is affecting the crypto markets. So right now, one of the first things that needs to happen is to reopen the government. And then the second thing, people need to stop leveraging when it comes to the crypto markets. People, after all these years, still have not learned. And there was prophetic warnings about this, especially for the average person, that you should not be leveraging anyway. I mean, we just had the largest liquidation in cryptocurrency history, and they are still not learning. But people are so deep in the hole that they have to keep over leveraging to try to make up for their losses. And they're being played, right? There's too much manipulation in the crypto markets. So you have that issue with people over leveraging and getting wiped out. So that's having an effect on cryptocurrency. And people just don't have the money. Like I said, they just don't have the money to invest. People are getting laid off. They're not thinking about cryptocurrency. So you can't depend on mass adoption to pump up the markets. We're heading into the wintertime. Energy bills are up. Food prices are up. Insurance rates are up. They're not thinking about cryptocurrency. The Federal Reserve is talking about all these interest rate cuts, but interest rate cuts are not bullish for the markets. Only in the short term. You might get a 1 or 2 day bounce, and then that's it, right? Because of all the hype around social media and the social media influencers talking about how interest rate cuts are bullish and all that. It's bullish for people who are affected by that. Like if you have a mortgage and they reduce the rates, well, guess what? Then your mortgage goes down. But mortgage rates have been high for the longest time since the Biden administration. I've seen people where they've said their mortgage rates have went up by 40 or 50%. So they need that interest rate to come down. And then, of course, you're going to have the money printing, right? That's going to have an effect on the markets. People are talking about the influx of money that will probably come into the crypto markets. I don't want to depend on that, but I am still expecting a bull run when these ETFs are approved, right? But I want you guys to understand this. Hedge funds trade on the charts. These financial entities also trade on the chart. It's like people who put money in the BlackRock. BlackRock has good returns. If you put money into them, you're going to get a good return on your investment. And so with these ETFs, when they're released, they're not going to be investing into your average coin. They're not going to be investing into your average meme coin. There's only so many coins, right? And this is a pretty huge list. But out of the top 1,000 coins, out of millions, not every coin is going to benefit from the ETFs. Now, the overall markets will rise, but it's not going to affect all your coins. Now, I do want to share this really quick. before we get into the whole thing with the ETFs. I believe that Trump has the wrong people around him. We've seen all these delays with the ETFs. We've seen the markets, especially the altcoin market, really not doing so well compared to what we thought would happen with Bitcoin making these new all-time highs. We saw the delay in the XRP case, by 7 or 8 months? That's absolutely insane that one of the things that helped Trump get elected was the cryptocurrency investors, and we haven't seen a return on the investment yet. And it's just all been negative, all this mass liquidations back and forth. I'm happy to see some of the crypto guys like CZ get pardoned, but we have to really focus on strengthening the cryptocurrency markets. Now, I guess there's still another bill that needs to be voted on relating to cryptocurrency, but that should have been already passed, right? So now we got to wait on that. But currently we're waiting on these ETFs. So before we get into the ETFs, I do want to share with you what Ron Walker said. Now, Ron Walker, I've shared with you guys over and over again. He has been on point with his predictions from reading the charts. Okay, he's been doing this for a very long time. If you guys don't remember, he's the same guy that captured the Bitcoin flash crash in 2011. I've shared that video. But he said a Bitcoin bounce is coming, and then another liquidation crash moved to 74,000. Now, he believes that Bitcoin will reach up to maybe 111,000, and then it's going to drop down to 74,000. Now, that's, despite what you might hear about the ETFs and all the pumping because of that, that could have an effect, and reopening the government could have an effect on that, pushing it past that point just because of the hype. But that 74,000 crash is coming. And so who knows where it's going to go from there. But I do want to also give out a warning about profits too as well, because ever since that I've been talking about Ron Walker, I noticed that people are talking about the same thing, right? I noticed that some of the same people that I am following, they are following too. So it's easy to say for anybody to say, especially over the last 3 or 4 months, you can easily say the markets are going to drop in half because some coins have slashed by 50%. So when somebody says, oh, Solana is going to drop down to $100, well, that's easy to predict. Anybody can make predictions when it comes to the cryptocurrency markets because it's so volatile. I can say right now, XRP at some point in the future prophesied that's going to drop by 50 cents or even $1. And guess what? More than likely, it's probably going to happen with all the volatility. I could take any coin. Oh, Shiba Inu is going to add another zero. Well, it did add another zero, right? Because of all the volatility. So I just want people to be aware of that because I'm noticing that and catching on to that, right? Because when I started talking about the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, guess what? All the people that you shouldn't be following, all of a sudden started talking about it too. So I just want to warn you that Bitcoin is probably going to bounce. It could reach around 111,000 depending on how things go and all the hype. It could go higher than that, right? But then drop down to 74,000. Now people are asking, well, is it going to go to 174,000 like you said or what the prophet said? First of all, when it comes to anything prophetic, there are no dates. I'm not giving dates. And because of, we should be used to this by now, that crypto markets fluctuate. Now, if the Bitcoin markets crash to 74,000, then very well, we could see those new all-time highs, right? But I want people to be prepared for this and to make sure that you are studying and learning how to place stop loss orders, okay? Because when I see Bitcoin reaching 110,000, you best believe I'm going to start putting in stop losses. I'm not an expert at that. And with the crypto markets, because they fluctuate so hard, you have to be very careful how you place your stop losses. But if you had placed your stop losses when, let's say XRP was at $2.68, guess what? It went down to all the way down to $2.06. So if you had placed your stop losses, say like at $2.50 or even $2.45, you would have been able to go back in and buy more XRP. So that's why I say it's very important, but you have to study and learn. But you know what? I've been saying this for a long time. But most people, all they want to do is watch Shiba Inu dream videos and how rich they're going to be and all this and all that. and you don't even know how to trade. You can't even go beyond buying and selling cryptocurrency. You're not even trying to learn the charts or even understand people like Ron Walker, or even any of the other people that I have shared. If you get a basic understanding of how the markets work when you watch these videos, you have a better understanding of what they're trying to say. Instead, you want to listen to the prophets. When people prophesy like, oh, I saw XLM go down to 17 cents. Okay, well, how did he prepare anybody for that? It only happened on 1 or 2 exchanges. It didn't happen for everybody. Well, you know how you prepare for that? You put in stop losses. These people aren't telling you how to prepare for these drops. They're just using cryptocurrency to boast themselves up. Right? Then the Federal Reserve is going to be printing money. Right? They know that they have to try to keep the economy up. So you're going to see money flow into Bitcoin and into probably some of the other coins and also the stock market. Now, will the ETFs save cryptocurrency? And I think, folks, with everything that we are looking for, it's all temporary. And I do believe that we will get a bull run, an altcoin bull run, because of the ETFs. But I want people to understand that these ETFs and all the investments, where the money is coming from. It's coming from the financial institutions and hedge funds. Guess what? They trade the charts. They also trade on behalf of millions of people. If you put money into a hedge fund or you put money into one of these financial institutions that trade on your behalf, right? They are not like you sitting and waiting for some meme coin to take off. And so on October the 21st, Cointelegraph put out this tweet, and I've also compiled some other lists and so on about all the different cryptocurrencies that have filings for ETFs, and that is going to be so very important. We already know Bitcoin and Ethereum have ETFs already, and there's going to be more. But you're going to need to invest in coins that have the ETFs. This is a different money source where the money is coming from. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other ETFs that are ready to be approved, right? You got Litecoin, AVAX, Dogecoin, DOT, SEI, HBAR, SUI, BNB, Cardano, Near, Chainlink, the Trump coin, obviously, INJ, Tron, Boink, Hype, Atom, Crow, AXL, Uni, Melanie, Aptos, ENA, Teo, OKB, Bitcoin Cash, Ondo, XLM, Pangu, Link, AAVE, AV, I don't know how to say it, but, and then recently Shiba Inu, and then there was a filing by T. Rowe Price on the crypto ETF for Shiba Inu, right? So you understand that when the ETFs are approved, it's going to be bullish for all of the markets, but the ones that have ETFs are going to be the ones that benefit the most. So I know a lot of people have a lot of meme coins that are not going to have ETFs. Now, those coins will go up in general because the markets will be bullish. Everybody, all the crypto influencers will be pumping everything up, right? And they will continue to pump things up even when the markets begin to crash, because that's what we are looking for. We are looking for, just like the stock market has cycles, right? This cycle, it seems like it's going to be extended a little bit, but eventually it's going to crash. It's going to crash by 50%, and then it's going to crash by 80%. And that's one of the things that we are looking for this wealth transfer. Because just like in 2021, if we had listened to the chart readers instead of the false prophets, we would have sold everything that we would have had and then bought back in when Bitcoin reached 16,000. You know, bull runs don't last forever, whether it's the stock market or the crypto markets. And you also have to remember some of these ETFs are short ETFs. I want you guys to think about that as well. Now, will the ETF save the cryptocurrency markets? It'll save it for a short period of time. But I think we just need to keep watching the people that know what they're talking about when it comes to reading the charts. You got to remember, if BlackRock is seeing in the charts that cryptocurrency is about to crash, you don't think they're going to dump everything? You don't think these financial institutions, you don't think they're not reading the charts? You think they're like you and me, or you think they're the average person who's always pumping the markets and all this and all that. Who cares if BlackRock says Bitcoin will reach $1 million? It will eventually, but it's not going to be in the next year. Things were really bullish at the beginning of this Trump administration, but it's almost like they put a small leak in the bubble and it's just slowly deflated, and they're going to try to pump it back up, right? But eventually it's not going to be able to hold its air. And you also have to remember that the crypto markets are tied in with the stock market. They're more woven into each other now than ever before. So if something happens to the stock market, what if the stock markets begin to drop? It's going to affect cryptocurrency. So I just want to put out this warning, and also make sure that you are using stop losses. Learn, study, read. If you can sit there and watch, I'm just saying over the last 30 days, 10 different videos put out by very different people, and some have put out more than that, about Shiba Inu dreams. You could definitely learn how to trade. And I'm gonna share this. There's gonna be a lot of people watching other people take profit, and also when the markets are going down, those people are gonna be sitting back watching all these people make a lot of money when the markets are crashing too as well. And they're gonna be so jealous, but they didn't take out time to learn, and all they did was just listen to the prophetic dreams and not learn how to trade, not learn how to read the markets, not understanding what other people are saying about the charts and the economy and so on. They just listen to all the Michael Saylors, and they listen to all the crypto influencers that are just always pumping things up. And that's what got us burned last time, folks. Don't you remember when the prophets were saying that Bitcoin was going to reach 100,000 in 2022? It did not happen. And they are making the same exact mistake for this cycle. So I just want you guys to be careful. And you really need to look at your portfolio. So folks, do the research on which cryptos have ETFs so that you can position yourself better. Right? Don't take my advice. You can pray about it, research it. Make sure you keep your eyes on the people that I'm following, because these guys are the best chart readers, and those links are down below in the description. So that's all that I have for this today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless.